Friends, how are you doing? I hope everyone is well. I want to get back to talking about a particular stock here, and that is WULF here. So, you know, I don't talk about I don't talk about crypto a lot on my channels at all here because I'm not smart enough to talk about crypto. I talk about crypto on TikTok, but I'm a heavy investor in crypto. I put money in Bitcoin every week. I put money in Ethereum every week. I have my hordes of XRP, Cardano, even Dogecoin, things like that. But I too love to invest obviously in the stock market, and there's a lot of different companies that I watch that I don't even talk about. Okay, especially one of late that's been very popular is Bitmine. Tom Lee, the chairman, his company essentially. But two, obviously watching this one, Wulf here particularly. I think this is a very interesting growing company. This is a company that's working that almost shouldn't be, if that makes sense. To let you know, this is a company that just came out with quarterlies, and the quarterlies were actually okay. They were actually okay. I think it was a big shock to a lot of people because this wasn't supposed to happen, if that makes sense. And it's a very new, delicate situation with this company where money is definitely better than it's been, and we're seeing a lot of companies like this, these newer kind of asset companies with data, more like security, things like this. Applied Digital, another great example of this kind of situation, but where they're not hitting their quarterlies, but they're moving into this bigger avenue of revenue. So it's like this double, sided knife here, where it's like it's good, bad, it cuts you, then it's all on the other side here. But nonetheless, I definitely think that this now is a situation where it's getting people's attention 100%. Now, obviously, long term for this company right now, I think it undoubtedly needs to show more improvement, obviously. And I think everyone would agree on that, really want to see where it's going. But when we talk about the future, will be the first one to tell you, I will take huge risk and huge chances in the market with things that are very futuristic and that could really turn into something. I love that kind of stuff. So in crypto, going right in that conversation. But this company in particular, what they're doing, I am highly, highly curious to keep pushing into it 100% because I think it's a very unique company that's actually doing well financially. So the company has announced deals here. Things have been happening here, and if we can see this really start to take shape here, I think that obviously crypto is really going to do well the next 4 years, undoubtedly. Like I said, I'm not trying to just talk about crypto here, but this company has a lot to do with crypto, obviously, Bitcoin. But I think crypto in general will continue to do well from here on out. I think that's just kind of the way it's going to be. I think, this administration is going to level out the playing field with crypto, where it's going to really push into it more, and then probably whatever comes on after this will have to acknowledge crypto and really continue to push into it too, because it's being used for assets. It has legitimate use. So with that, companies that are mining, pushing into crypto, holding, things that they're doing, guarding it, whatever it be, they're going to do well, and they're going to find themselves making a lot of money. So, what I see with this company right now is a situation of, investors are looking for a position. They're looking for somewhere to call, to walk into with this company right now. I think right now, seeing this new position in this stock right now, I think that more than likely we are going to see this stay in this 7-8, more than likely get to a $10 range here. I am curious with this stock, if it can hold this position, and obviously this is a new position for the stock right now. This is all time new. As of late, this is a great position. The stock hasn't been this had this much attention since it kind of came to market, and back in 2021, it was, a $40 stock. So if they can continue to push in deals, if they can continue to push into some pretty nice quarterlies here, this can be a $10, $15 stock all day. And I do think that this stock more than likely is going to push into this avenue somewhat that I see like maybe something a little bit like Big Bear, where there's just so much assumption, there's so much what if, there's so much, it's just on the teeter-totter edge of more deals, more revenue in the future, what the future is going into with our stock market. I am in full belief and will stand on the podium and argue all day where I believe that our market is going into completely different investment avenues here, a completely different avenue with investments, to where people, there's going to be people that just kind of, the older investor, the older generation of the investor, and I'm for every investor here, but the people that invest, maybe in like banks, a lot of ETFs, in safer things. That's the only thing they really invest in. You're going to have a newer generation of investor come in here, and they're going to say, well, I want to invest in the companies that are investing in crypto. I want to invest in the banks that are investing in crypto. I want to invest in the new tech companies, security companies that form around, software, all this kind of stuff. And I think Terrell Wulf here is definitely in that conversation. So I somewhat think that this stock, even with what's going on right now, and obviously this is a very growing situation right in front of us. I'm not telling you to put your money into it. I'm just telling you I'm watching it 100%. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go from here. I think that this is going to get somewhat of a cult following, this stock, 100%. I don't know that it will be anything as extreme as like Big Bear or some of these other, stocks out there, but I think it's definitely going to continue to, keep people's attention 100%. So, it's a stock that I would tell you not to walk away from. I'm not telling you to buy it, anything. I'm just saying, hey, I'm watching it. I'm talking about it as a fan of the market and, what the future of the market is. This is definitely something I like to watch. I'm watching what the actual company is doing. And, I don't think that we've really, the market goes through these transitions of what's popular in the market. And, right now what's popular in the market is essentially security, AI, defense stocks, things like that, kind of one and all. But, I don't know that we've seen like crypto really invade the stock market, if that makes sense. Obviously there's a lot of people that invest in Coinbase. There's a lot of people that invest in Robinhood just because of, Robinhood talks a lot about crypto and they really want to push into that. And other companies like this too, there's other situations like this, but I don't know that the market has had these like waves of just like a feeding frenzy of crypto really infiltrating the stock market with companies that are working with crypto. So there could be a conversation that this stock will do very well into the future too, if we find ourselves next year or the year after that where the stock market is going like, hey, we're actually kind of focused on this right now. Crypto has found utility use. People are buying more crypto. And now these companies that are holding crypto, mining crypto, working with crypto are making a ton of money. So that's kind of what I see here with this. So I don't think anybody should look away from the stock at all. I think you should really hone in and watch it. And obviously this is a whole new range right now for this stock. I this kind of situation, watching elements like this in the market, this is not a situation that would shock me to bleed back down to $7 to $6 on a bad day, but it would not shock me if the stock shot up all the way to $15. It just wouldn't shock me at all, because I think there's a lot of just, momentum behind it right now. So friends, I want to wish all of you the best of luck out there. I really do mean that. It's Monday probably where you're watching this, and I will talk to you soon. Bye everyone.